Hi, it's me again, and I'm back a little sooner than I was expecting. I've been kinda busy, and making this stuff isn't exactly on the forefront of my mind at the moment, but the FNaF 12-year anniversary rolled around, and it's actually held some pretty interesting things in store. So I wanted to take a little bit of time to go over it all, talk it through, and see if I could make some connections early. If not evident by my Vanny video, I've gotten pretty good at somewhat predicting what's next for the franchise. I hope I can minimize the gross mouth sounds this time around as I talk it out. There's some pretty cool stuff in store for FNaF fans, and I just wanted to wait a little longer to see if we get all the announcements this week before I made this. Obviously this video isn't scripted or anything, but that's the beauty of it. I get to make this as I go along. This anniversary brought us some things that have been a very, very long time coming. It was enough to bring me out of my little hiatus. I'm going to leave the most pertinent topic for last, just kind of go over some of the things that have been brought up. The book and merch updates have been kind of neat, but that's not exactly what I want to do on this channel. There are dozens of other channels that do that kind of stuff. So I'm going to start with what connects to the games the least, and that's the physical attraction opening up in New Jersey, I think. It's at the American Dream Place. I could really feel something like this on the horizon because Scott's spoken about this in the past. I think it was in some of his interviews. And what's kind of humorous about it all is that initially he was reluctant to do something like this because he didn't want someone recreating the murders at a location, which is a funny and surprisingly bleak reason. But since the awesome results of the 10-year anniversary party and the attraction at Halloween Horror Nights last year, I could really see this coming into view. And here it is. And it's going to be a permanent location, so I won't have to scramble to experience it this time. In terms of talking points, there's only a small handful that I want to go over. I'm interested in the food, because FNaF has had an interesting relationship with food since the first security logbook came out, offering up strange recipes and stuff like that. Interestingly good ones, I'll put it. FNaF's also had an official cookbook released. I think there's one other thing I'm missing. Apart from that, there were also the awesome cupcakes at Universal Studios at Halloween Horror Nights. I was lucky enough to try one of those. They were delicious. I really hope they bring those back in some way. What I wasn't able to try was the spaghetti pizza. Is that what it was? A lot of other people had it. I did not get to do that, but I hope that they make the food interesting. It would be really cool if they had a rotating menu or something like that. It is going to be a permanent location, so I think they're going to have some pretty cool stuff planned. What I'm also very interested to see is how they do the animatronics, because how they were done at Halloween Horror Nights was really nice. The result was very effective, and they actually managed to get some really big animatronics to move in some pretty interesting ways in that attraction. But if I know anything from my visits to Chuck E. Cheese, it's that the upkeep on these things is going to be crazy, and they may be broken down a lot. I will be there day one if I can help it. I've been waiting for something like this since the Fright Dome attraction in 2016. Next up on the agenda is FNaF World 2, which was something I was really not expecting to happen ever, up until recently, when Scott started talking about it again. Usually that's the biggest indication of something happening. But still, it's a massive shock. We will have waited 11 years before getting a sequel to FNaF World. That's almost twice the wait that Hollow Knight fans had for Silksong. This time, Scott isn't doing it on his own. He's making it a fully fledged project, working with Megacat Studios, and judging by all the work that he's done with other studios, I'm sure it's going to turn out amazing gameplay-wise. I just hope he makes it his game, like the original FNaF World. That game was essentially made as a detox for him, so I hope it just carries over that same lighthearted spirit. If he can fit some funky stuff in there like was it Foxy Runners or whatever? I don't know, some of his Update 2 stuff. I want it to be weird, I want it to have a ton of secrets, and I want it to have a ton of characters. In terms of the story or lore relevance, it's either going to have a very slim lore relevance or be its own self-contained thing again, which either way, that's just fine with me. But where it could get interesting moves me on to my next topic of Security Breach 2 that was just announced by Steelwool. The modern FNaF era has had a massive element of glitches and such, so I think it would be pretty cool to see FNaF World tie into that in some way, being that the first FNaF World was also very involved with its glitches and everything like that. So I'm going to make that prediction here and now, because it would be kind of cool if I'm right about that. And moving on to Security Breach 2, their teaser was just the new design of Vanny, or the character that at least came from Vanny in some way. This is the biggest reason for me making this video. Number one, because it's Vanny, and I made a whole video on her. And number two, just look at her. It's a very easy assumption to make that this design is taking things from both the Glitch Trap and Mexis. And wouldn't you know it, there's been a huge focus on Glitch Trap, Vanny, and Mexis on all of the recent FNaF games. And now there are elements of each of them in this one character. Last we saw of Mexis, he was either at the bottom of the Pizzaplex or being loaded onto a van. I'm not quite sure which one of those came sequentially. I think the Help Wanted 2 ending was insinuating that that was how Mexis got to the Pizzaplex, or at least into Fazbear's hands. And last we saw of Vanny and Glitchtrap was when Vanny was killing Glitchtrap. I was putting together a script for another theory after Secret of the Mimic that I really wanted to make, because I think it got a lot of things right, and also I think Secret of the Mimic was trying to bring up some interesting topics connecting it to FNaF 1 in a few interesting ways. Hopefully Security Breach 2 gives us a lot of insight onto their new intentions with the events of Security Breach. I hope it fleshes out the whole digital realm thing that they were doing, but these are just my hopes. They're coming out swinging with a bunch of glitchy effects and all that still, so I think that's going to be a big focal point. It is Security Breach 2 after all. And that is pretty much the end of what I wanted to cover in this video. There's a few more things I could talk about, but I think I'm going to save that for when I could actually make something a bit more presentable. I just wanted to put some words out there. I think this was an amazing anniversary, and I just wanted to put my thoughts out there, even if it means if I still have to do it like this. I was hoping for some film news for FNaF 3. The book news was pretty neat, but he didn't really announce anything big for any series or anything like that. But I'm sure news for that stuff will be coming out soon anyways. So apart from things like Dead by Daylight or anything, there's not a lot of things I feel the need to catch up with in a video like this. But like I said, I'm still glad I can make it. I'm pretty busy getting a lot of stuff together right now, and I don't really have too much time to focus on putting together a video like this anymore. But this is also that I will have that time later. This is just the beginning, and I still want to make it somewhat watchable for the people that are here right now. So happy 12th everyone. I'll see you out there.